From Burbank, California. Sorry. From the center of the galaxy. This is ForceCenter, a show about Star Wars, pop culture, the ultimate adventure, life itself. It is Ken and Jen in the afternoon here. I'm Ken Knapsack.
Live from Los Angeles, I'm Jen Landa.
From Burbank, California. Hey, everybody. If you're wondering where Joseph Scrimshaw is, he thought he'd be here today. He thought I'd be here this week, but making a movie, a feature film, as it turns out, does take a lot of effort, energy, and time. So he's out another week for finishing that project there. So you're stuck with us, kids. Also, a little programming note, looking at next week. Next Monday's Labor Day. All three of us out. So it's one of those occasions, I think, Jen, 3 times in 11 years that we've just kind of gone dark for a week.
Yeah. I would like to say we deserve it. I'm not doing anything. I'm just my kids are home, and it's always really difficult for me to record.
Yeah.
When they're around.
Yeah.
But you deserve it.
Yes. I mean, I'll be working.
That's right. You'll be gone.
I'll be traveling, doing some work, which I'm very thankful for during these times. But yeah. No, I'm not saying we're heroes, Jen, but we haven't taken a week off since we started in 2015. There has been ForceCenter shows up every week since 2015.
Wow. You've been a mainstay. You've held it down. I've come in and out, floating around like a force ghost, but you always hold it down.
Look, coming in and out of the picture, for 2 kids and getting your, your master's degree, your doctorate, or whatever the hell you're doing in school, Jen. That's a reason.
The reason for the season, kids.
YouTube's doing the weird username thing again, where the names are showing up. I don't know. It's weird. But luckily we do know who David Mackay is, Channel 19. How I knew him first when he was on my Twitch channel watching me. He asked a very important question, Jen. So Squirrely and Kyla will be sitting in for my absence. Yes. So, but here's the other thing, though. I'm leaving town for 3 days.
Oh.
I'll be in Viva Las Vegas, and I have to find someone to watch my squirrels.
Wait, really?
Well, because they're so, and this is maybe the problem of feeding wild animals. I think the squirrels are so used to my house being a food source.
Oh.
I'm sure they'd be okay for 3 days, but I feel beholden to them. So I'm having a friend come over, and every morning he's going to put down peanuts and almonds and water for my squirrels.
They have cat feeders. I believe it's a cat feeder where it's like it dispenses the food, but I don't know how peanuts would fit into that. This is probably better.
Yeah, they're squirrel feeders. My friend Brittany and Matt, they had a squirrel feeder they were going to donate, and I just forgot to pick it up. So maybe I'll have to do that. But Jen, it's so hot right now.
Oh, it's so hot.
That I put water down for them, and one day I stepped out of town a couple weeks ago to go visit my parents for a night. And I came back Wednesday evening, and all the water was gone, all the food was gone, and I didn't see the squirrels the next day. So it was like the algorithm. We're like, all right, you're not feeding us. We're out of here. We're going to go find someone else's house. I can't have that happen. The squirrels are the only thing keeping me alive.
Fair weather friends, them and the cats. Let me tell you, we have neighborhood cats, and they haven't been coming around because I haven't been feeding them because I've been busy. But I see them at the other neighbors' houses that do feed them, and they just stare at me, and I'm like, listen, I thought we had something.
I've caught Kylo 4 houses down.
No.
And he recognizes me. I go, and he dropped, and he went up on his haunches and was like, oh my God, yeah, hey, okay, yeah, I'll meet you over there. And he went back to my house. But then it made me think that these squirrels and the skunks and the street cats and the raccoons they're all working the neighborhood.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they are. You think you're the only one. And then, like you say, you see them at your neighbors a few houses down. It doesn't feel so special. But you know what? I don't care, right? We don't care. We love the furry companionship.
I'm so invested in these squirrels. And I'm also invested in Star Wars. Welcome to Star Wars Questions Live here on a Monday. We got a question pulled here. But like last week, if you have a super chat that's about anything else in Star Wars world, maybe even a little other center, post it. Let's do it. And as always, you don't have to have a super chat to join the conversation. We'll see some things we like, and we will star those so we can get to those. We do have a main question there. And then last week, we stumbled on, Jen, to the great Jabba the Hutt Japanese sound system commercial. I have looked. I don't know if I have anything as good, but maybe we'll do another live commercial reaction to weird Star Wars commercials.
Oh my gosh. I bet there's so many. I mean, there was a golden age of commercials. We were spoiled as younger people. We don't get those types of things nowadays.
In my day, we had commercials. They played on network television with your favorite characters. Yes, I agree. All right, let's get to this question. You want to get to this question, Jen? You want to get to this? Sorry, I'm leaning too forward. Let me get here. All right. Shout out to Joseph, who in the middle of editing his film picked the question for us. So he is spinning plates even as he's taking time off here. So I appreciate Joseph's work here. This question is from our longtime listener, Douglas Dubois. That's right. Douglas writes, my question starts like more of a statement. Ryan Gosling is a versatile actor, but one of my favorite things he does well is the awkward love interest. I think that would kill in a Star Wars story. We've been a bit starved of love stories in Star Wars movies lately. Solo aside, I don't think there have been many romantic relationships. I think we all love Cassian and Bix, Kanan and Hera, so the shows have delivered. Do you think the writing team will give us a screen relationship in the cinema that plays into Ryan's chops? Is that something that would enhance the story for you? Big question, should Star Wars stories include more romantic stories like the first two trilogies? A lot of stuff there, Jen. Before we dive in, I will say this. This is a week of romance at ForceCenter because later in the week, I have an episode with comedian Grace Kastmeyer that is called Romance is Why We Love Star Wars. So that just was kismet, synergy that this question came across today. I want to start, Jen, by pitching to you of just overall, your views of romance in Star Wars.
It's funny because I've never been one to be like, I like romance in Star Wars, but then it always surprises me. For example, I became a Reylo. I was not wanting that to happen, but then, The Last Jedi made me a believer in toxic relationship. And I was like, ooh, this is fun. Same thing with the Acolyte, Chimere and Osha. Not expecting it, but I see some skin, and suddenly I'm like, yeah, maybe this is not so bad to have romance in Star Wars. I don't
behave. Yes.
But the thing about Star Wars, it's kind of funny because those two examples I shared are very much more like dangerous, right? It's a little bit more forbidden, taboo. But it all started with a very classic kind of, old Hollywood romance style with Han and Leia. So I don't know what I want is what I'm trying to say. I don't know what I want, but I'm open.
Well, okay. And speaking of toxic love, we got Padme and Anakin.
Oh, duh, right? Of course. Yeah, that's a complicated one.
It's complicated.
I just glossed over it. I don't know why. My brain just not it. That one really ends very badly. I think that's why.
Yeah, not the best. But, it's got a great love theme. The love theme is sweeping.
Yeah.
And I love it. We love Padme here. Yeah, I'm with you too. I think, the Bogey and Bacall of Han and Leia is absolutely one of my favorite things in Star Wars. I think almost to the point of I have to sometimes question how much their love in the original trilogy is the basis for how I view relationships in my own life. Like, do we got to fight? Do we got to banter? See, do I got to annoy you to make you love me? I don't know. It's that kind of thing. It is the Princess and the Scoundrel. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just acknowledging that that's probably got a lot to do with my life. And so I just kind of maybe took it for granted. Toxic realities aside of Anakin and Padme, especially in Attack of the Clones, it's pretty darn sweeping, and I'm on board for it. And I love romance in Star Wars. I do think it's part of the ingredients. It is part of that Saturday morning cereal. and that's one of the reasons we're going to celebrate it later in the week here on the show. But the lack of it in the sequel trilogy, diving in there, we got the Gosling of it all. Speaking of men with shirts off, we'll talk about Ryan Gosling here in Starfighter. I want to go to 7, 8, and 9 with you, Jen. The Raylo of it all is part of that, but they aren't the only ones. You got Poe, you got Finn, you got people who wanted Poe and Finn. You had the the past history was Zori and Poe that certainly wasn't explored, though it was there, and they had great heat and intensity at times. I loved their scenes together. I didn't miss sweeping romance in the sequel trilogy. Specifically talking about 7, 8, 9. I didn't miss it, though. I think it was weird. I think later on, I looked back and went, oh, that's right. It really wasn't there. And that comes from conversations we had here in ForceCenter. So I don't know what that says about it, other than I was pulled in. And also I have to acknowledge I had a little bit of the, as things started changing, not just in the world socially, but how people view things, and the generations coming up behind us, our generation, they view romance differently. In some ways, I don't want to speak for anybody. Maybe we'll get a Gen Z representative on the show here, but there's a lot of think pieces on what Gen Z thinks of romance and young millennials thinks of romance in shows, and the tropey nature of it, the reliance on it. And I feel, right or wrong, I felt, especially coming out of 7 and maybe even coming out of 8, where regarding the Raylo of it all, I was just like, I don't want, unless this character, Ray, needs it, I'm fine with her not having it. That it doesn't need to be, we got this female lead, we better give her a romance.
Right.
And I don't know if I took too strong of a stance on that. But also, it wasn't just on her. There could have been any other character. Claude could have had a romance. Anyways, so I pitched that back to you about 7, 8, 9. Did you miss it? Am I off base? Do you understand that kind of thought, at least, of if we don't need to force this on a character like Ray if it doesn't need to be there?
Yeah, I think that the idea that the female character's choices have to be driven by her love interest or her wanting to have that love, I think is a common trope that we've seen. It limits a character. It makes the character more one-dimensional. And that's not who Ray is. And so it was not necessary. But you could not deny the chemistry that you felt watching these scenes between Daisy Ridley and Adam Driver. And the funny thing is it was really danced. It was danced around, I feel like, in The Last Jedi. It was awkward. It was like, I don't want to look, but I kind of want to look, right? Which just felt very real, very grounded, and not as like, hey, cutie, not cringe as the youngsters would say. It just felt very real, and that's kind of why I was rooting for it, whereas it felt like something that true teenagers or younger people would be going through. But I didn't need it. I didn't need to have too much romance with her because I felt like she was such a great character on her own. I didn't need to have that as part of the story.
And again, kind of what was going on in just storytelling overall in 2015 and beyond, and that's something that I stand behind too, of just being like, we don't need everything to be a rom-com. But the hand touching in Last Jedi is at the time the closest I think we've had just out and out a sex scene in Star Wars, right? Like just the light touch there was there. Oh my gosh. And like I don't want, this is a conversation for another time. Like I do feel you can overcorrect, and I do feel I'm not calling out other generations, it's their own journey, but sometimes I'm just like, romance should exist in some stories. It's real. We all have it. Like let's not shy away from it. It's just how you do it, how you use it, how you approach it. And that's me as a Game of Thrones fan saying, at times the book and the show have done it a little wrong. So it's good to change some things going forward. But looking to the future, I do want more Star Wars romance. I got to admit, going back to Douglas' questions, Jen, Starfighter's not the first place that I think it's going to happen. What do you think about the Gosling of it all?
Oh, with Ryan Gosling, the thing about him, I think of La La Land. I really like La La Land. I did not at first, but I really love it. I like the soundtrack. and the relationship between him and Emma Stone's character is really there again awkward. It's real. But it's also very sweeping and romantic, and it feels like an old Hollywood movie. And I think that's kind of what I would see for Star Wars romance is that classic 1930s 40s style of romance, which it's classy, right? It's a brush on the shoulder. It's not like what we got with Andor, certainly with Bix and Cassian. It's not hot and heavy like that.
Right.
It's a little bit more, I don't want to say chaste, but it's where like a touch of a hand really it means something. And I think that can obviously play very well for audiences of all ages, especially younger people who might be like, ew, I don't want to see kissing.
Yeah, I was that kid. I was Fred Savage from The Princess Bride telling Peter Falk, stop, there's too much kissing in the story. I had the Topps Return of the Jedi trading cards, and there's one of the cards that's Leia and Han smooching, as Irving Kershner would say, with Wicket watching. And I just remember, like, maybe because of my upbringing, was like, I can't look at that card too long. I can't look at it.
It'll make me think things.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I guess by going to the Gosling involved, this question's making me think: should we not waste Gosling's love interest appeal, right? And I just have everything that's coming out of the story. We have by the way, we know nothing of this film other than some minor plot ideas.
Right.
And that translates into, we got a starfighter, we got maybe a younger kid being taken to somewhere, we got two villains chasing him, and maybe Mia Goth and Matt Smith are the sweeping romance in the film. I just don't know if there's time. Oh, that's side note. Would you like to see the sweeping romance be between the two villains?
I kind of like that. And have it be like Game of Thrones style. That could be really dangerous and troubling. No, that because you're right. How do you fit that in? How do you fit?
Yeah.
Part of the reason why it works so well with the original trilogy is Leia was a character unto herself. Like she was independent and she was feisty and strong-willed and a leader, and like she was not defined by Han. If you have this female character or male or whatever love interest for Ryan Gosling's character, they have to be able to stand on their own. Otherwise, there might be some criticism that, they're just there to serve Ryan Gosling's character. And that's not what we would want.
Yeah. That's a little bit of maybe what my worry would be, going back to the tropes of it all. Like we gotta have, we just might not have the time. The side note of the sweeping romance from the villains, it reminds me a little bit of one of my favorite shows, Robotech, and I do mean Robotech, not Macross. I'm talking about Robotech, and they got two villains, Zodia and Chiron, who kind of end up having a little plot, a sub-C plot in the background that's their romance that ends with them having kind of a Bonnie and Clyde moment. So again, Robotech was highly influential in my life in the 80s as well. So maybe that's what I want with Mia Goth and Matt Smith now. I didn't think about that before. So I don't know. Going to Starfighter, I also don't think it's weird to have this realization, Jen, like looking at the slate going forward of what we might think's coming in movies. Who knows where romance could fit in? But from the surface, like Filoni's movie, I don't see that unless it's Sabine and Shin or something like that. Like I'm focused more on the world building or the politics or the war going on. I don't see a place for that. Maybe new Jedi Order film doesn't seem like Rey's going to be like, you know what? I've decided to settle down. Like that doesn't seem right.
Right.
Big Jim Mangold's picture. We're going back to the Dawn of the Jedi. That could have a sweeping old school 10 Commandments romance, I guess. That hotbed of romance, the 10 Commandments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think of Bix and Cassian, and this is where it gets a little wrinkly for me, is she ends up having, spoiler alert, a baby. And there's nothing wrong with children. I am a proud mother, but it does change the trajectory of the story and the
Yes.
characters. And oftentimes the mother then gets kind of sidelined. That doesn't have to, I mean, it just happens in real life.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, and you may be a working mom, but you're still trying to juggle being a mom and being a working woman.
Mm-hmm.
So how would you factor that into a story? See, this is where I start to go, oh, I don't know. Like if you keep it old Hollywood style, then you don't
Mm.
have that issue because they never really played that out. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you didn't even see the Brady Bunch sharing the Brady parents sharing a bed until, oh no,
Oh
they
no.
did share a bed. They did share a bed, right?
Well, I
Wasn't that
Love
the whole
Lucy.
controversy? I Love Lucy,
Yeah,
they did not. They
they
had separate
didn't.
beds. But
Yes,
I
and then
think
we
the
couldn't even see
Bradys,
Lucy pregnant.
right,
Thank
right.
you, Hayes Code and the morality of the time. Yeah, I don't. I didn't watch much of the Brady Bunch. I was a Gilligan's Island guy.
I
So
watched a
you had
lot.
the sweeping romance of the Howells.
Ha! No, but yeah, they did share a bed, but nothing. Yeah,
Yeah,
I was just like them sitting there.
yeah,
Anyways, the point is that I want them to both be to both of the to be childless is what I'm trying to say.
yeah.
Unless it serves a story.
Right. Yeah. No. That's. Yeah. That's kind of where we're at now. It's something I want, but I just don't see the place for it. But again, we got a lot of room for it here. There's a lot of characters, a lot of things on the table. But certainly, Mandalorian and Grogu. I don't expect to have romance in that.
I want to see Grogu have a little. Listen, who was it? Neil? Remember that
Neil.
whole thing? He got the kiss. Could Grogu
Yeah.
get his first kiss? I mean, what is
See,
he like 5? Like that's kind of kindergarten
and
love.
and Neil's kiss is not sweeping romance. It's barely romance at all. But I was a big fan of that kiss. I
I
will
know
say,
you were. I was not.
big fan. You were not.
No.
Let's debate it, Jen. Have you gone? I watched it again this week, and I was like, that's just the sweetest thing ever. Have you softened or hardened your stance on it?
I haven't watched it recently. Maybe I would change, but I think it was my kids' reactions they were like, why is she doing that? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know. I still
Okay.
don't like it. I still
Okay.
don't like
That's
it.
fair. That's fair. It's look, in my heart, I'm a Neil. So I want I want the mysterious French resistance fighter to give me a smooch on the snoot. All right. Speaking of Neil, the man behind the I put Neil into shots in Star Wars, Brian Ward at Midnight Mass. If Bo-Katan is the Mando Grogu movie, there could be something there. Yeah, and we talk on the news tomorrow. By the way, we got speaking of romance, we got some Oscar Isaac talk, some Katie Sackhoff talk tomorrow on the news show, which we recorded this morning. But it seems as though, unless it's a big surprise, I don't know if there's even room for Bo-Katan in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, let alone romance.
Yeah, I don't see how it fits. I don't see how it fits. I mean, yeah, could Din Djarin meet up with that lady again? Right?
On Sorgan, maybe
Yeah.
maybe that's how it ends.
Maybe that's how it ends.
You know what? I love jumping around. I love jumping around on Question Monday, Jen. If we're gonna let's just do a big sweeping romantic Star Wars movie, something that's not on the slate yet. And I'm not, Jen, I'm not pigeonholing her into anything, okay? But the one who I want to handle this is Bryce Dallas Howard.
Oh, yes. Yes.
The heart and soul she brings into every episode, and action and humor. Her episode of Skeleton Crew, I think, is my favorite episode, which is the Skull Ridge Mountain episode, the bulk of it. And she would be able to handle some of the things that we know. Like I've always said, I do not want to say, oh, Bryce Dallas Howard, you could only do female-led mom stories in Star Wars. That's not what my goal is, okay? I'm not putting you in emotional mom genes and holding you there, Bryce. I'm just saying she gets it in a way that others haven't. Others have tried or come close, but she just gets it. And I would want her to handle a big, sweeping romantic story in Star Wars.
There is something about the female gaze, if you want to go down that road. I would love to see her take. I would trust her take on romance in Star Wars. I bet it's going to be fun and romantic and sexy and smart.
Yeah.
She can do no wrong.
She could do no wrong. And we'll start going to some comments here if you guys have got more thoughts. And we'll go back to Douglas's question as well to get some of the specifics. But yeah, it it is interesting though. Just to pull back a little bit here, we're having some fun. But like growing up in the 80s, it just was a romance in Star Wars was a given to me. Han and Leia were the sweeping romance of my time, which I don't want to get into the 7, 8, 9 conversation now, but I love that they're apart in Force Awakens. That is actually one of my favorite things. It changed the tone for me and was very mature, older, and broken, which I needed to hear at the time. I needed to analyze that part of my life through Star Wars. So I love that, even though that's not for everyone. But in the 80s, like Jen, that was the love story. Because Indiana Jones, that player was moving around.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
The Lock It In, Marion Ravenwood came in the 2000s, but growing up, Indy like that was a Bond level kind of new love every movie. But Han and Leia, 3 movies, it was powerful. It was felt, and so it's weird for me to sometimes think like, oh, I don't know if Star Wars needs it anymore. And I don't think Star Wars needs anything. It can play around and do different things. Obviously, Andor showed that too. But like, I think I personally am ready for romance to come sweeping back in.
Yeah, it's all about the chemistry. You cast the right actors that have the right chemistry. I mean, that's why people were shouting for Finn and Poe, because John Boyega and Oscar Isaac had great chemistry. And whether you interpret it as like bro chemistry, 2 buddies, or something more, like it was just electric watching them act together. So that's what it takes.
It was the Oscar Isaac lip bite felt around the galaxy, right? Going back to 2015. And again, we were talking some Oscar Isaac tomorrow, talking some romance later in the week with comedian Grace Kessmeyer. So we're going to get into a lot of that there. We'll take some questions, comments here, anything jumping out. I'm just going through Douglas' questions. Douglas' question a little bit more here. We'll come back to that. Anything in the comments jumping out to you, Jen? There you go.
Yeah, Svetnik. Romantasy has become very popular in print. Star Wars should get in on that trend. Not sure we need to have overt sex in Star Wars, but that's another conversation. I agree. I've been reading Court of Thorn and Roses. I'm a terrible reader right now. I'm like not that far in. But it feels I've heard it's very, very like fantasy, sexy, romance, whatever. It's a lot of fun. And there are kind of some elements of Reylo in the characters that I'm getting right now, where there's like, they don't like each other. They're kind of antagonists towards each other. It's fun. I would love to see Star Wars more like that, like a fantasy. I don't know. I mean, who would do it though? I don't think Dave Filoni. Dave Filoni does fantasy really well, but it would have to be a different type of director, I think.
Yeah, nothing against that, Yinzer. I think he does other things well. I'm trying to think of some stuff. Look, one of the greatest love stories is still sitting on the table, which is Duchess Satine and Obi-Wan. That talk about tragic love story. We got the tragic ending. We bring it up all the time. Years ago on Collider, we interviewed Christy Golden, Star Wars author. She wanted to tell that story. So people have been wanting to tell the story, but I think you could do the beginning of the relationship would be fun, some fun Star Wars romantasy. Oh, look at that. You mentioned the Court of Thorns and Love or whatever, and now Molly Damon's here.
Oh, Molly. The second book. Okay, see, I gotta just get this. I've got to just power through. It's really good. I read it too late at night, and then I get tired.
Oh yeah, no, I can't. No, I have to read books between like 10:30 and 10:45 in the morning.
In the morning. That's what I should do. Instead of looking at my phone and social media, which makes me upset, I should just dive into a book. Take a look. It's in a book.
Take a look. It's in a book. Some other comments, questions here. Going back to your talk of La La Land. Watch out, Jen. Scott Mantz going to burst through the wall. That's right. Scott Mantz, famous La La Land lover. I'm with you, too. I did not like that movie. I also don't love musicals. So I did not like that movie the first time I watched it. I didn't see it in theaters. I saw it at home. Struggled to finish it. I liked the ending because the ending was sad, and I love sad romantic stories. I love when someone gets their heart broken. You can analyze that all you want. I love sad bastard music. I love it all. But then at the time, I was with someone who was a actor from Arizona with red hair who loved to sing and dance, and that movie meant the world to her. And I saw it through her eyes and fell in love with the movie. Also doesn't hurt that some of the locations are literally within 2 minutes of my house, and I feel connected to that as an LA story, not just a big picture movie. But yeah, I wouldn't mind that. It's not going to be with Gosling, but I wouldn't mind that in Star Wars. But anyways, going back to that, we also have super chat from Superman for Sinners. All had romance this year. I loved it, Jenny. You have not had a chance to see Superman yet, right? Because you're busy living.
I haven't seen anything besides K-pop Demon Hunters. That's the only time I've gone to the movies. Although I told my husband, I was like, we got to go see Frankenstein. October. It's like 2.5 hours long, but I want to go. And if he doesn't go with me, I'm going to go by myself because that cannot be missed.
Go by yourself. So,
yeah.
Support Del Toro and his practical crusade of filmmaking.
Mm-hmm. So Superman had romance?
Oh yeah, sorry. Thank you. My ADD kicking in. It did, and I loved how it was portrayed. It was not sweeping. It had some sweeping moments, not spoiling anything, but like I think I was expecting what we kind of grew up on with Superman 78, which is great stuff. And I love Margot Kidder in that film and all those moments. But because the movie began with everything kind of up and running, they were already in a relationship. They had been established for a certain amount of time. And so that scene with them, she's interviewing him and everything, I think Rachel Brosnahan did such a good job. It was a realistic depiction of romance in a kind of hyper-realized, surreal superhero picture. Like, I really loved how it played.
I got to see it when it hits streaming.
All right. And then there's a debate of La La Land.
You know what? I totally understand, Molly. It is one of those things because I saw myself so much in Emma Stone, like doing the auditions. You just feel like crap. You walk out of the waiting room, you see like 20 people that look just like you, and you're like, what am I doing? But then you have these picturesque moments where you're like at the Griffith Observatory, you're looking out into I had this when I worked for TCM and I was up there at the Hollywood and Highland. I forget what hotel that was. And I looked out. Yeah. And I was like, I saw all the lights and I could see the Walk of Fame. And I just was like, oh my gosh, this is why I've been struggling. And then the next day I went back and I'm back in grad school. It's like, and that is why I'm struggling because those dreams are in fantasy world. The rare, the possibility of actually making a living is pretty slim in Hollywood. It'll break your heart.
It will. I think that movie is it's a love story to LA as just as much as anything else, and I think that's eventually what I got cut. Because I will absolutely, I'll fist fight you. This is one of the most beautiful cities in the world. And it's also one of the grimiest cities in the world, and one of the most broken cities in the world. So that movie really captured all that there. All right, La La Land Center is on. I know Joseph loved the movie as well. Sam's got a question here. Thank you for the generous super chat. Just being Starfighter related, wanted to mention it as a rec for folks, but Matt Smith played an amazing villain in the movie Ryan wrote and directed called Lost River. It's totally underrated. Thanks, ForceCenter. Well, there's your weekend movie sorted.
Lost River.
Thank you for the recommendation.
Interesting.
Lost River. You highlighted this one here. What do you think about this there for Nicholas?
I love that. Thank you, Nicholas.
Hera has many take your kids to work days.
I really, really appreciated that, seeing her being a working mom, having to take her kid. There was this interview that Margot Robbie did. It was like a junket, and you could hear her baby crying in the background. And, she's always a professional, but she's like, I think that's my baby crying. Ooh, the focus to be able to be present in the moment and interviewing while hearing your baby crying, that's tough. But Hera did it flawlessly as well.
You're a flawless mother, Jen. Yeah. All the ForceCenter podcast kid moments are wonderful. But yeah, Maura Hera. Yeah, I'm glad Jason Sandula was in the series beyond just, ooh, isn't that great? And we got a character there. Like, I didn't love the idea that we wouldn't get to see Hera in that kind of environment at the time when Rebels ends. It's like, and a kid, isn't that great? But I'm like, okay, but she's also a general in a rebellion and now a general in a republic. Like, and then in some of the other stories she showed up in, the video games and whatnot, and the books, there wasn't a lot of mention of it, which might just be a lore thing, that they're like, hey, we can't really touch this. Dave is waiting to figure out when to do this and don't encroach. But so beyond just hey, there's a character. I do think it was important to have Jason there as a son and mom relationship.
He's coming back for season 2?
I would think.
Yeah,
I
right?
would think. Yeah.
I wonder how
I
old the
would
kid
think.
will be. How old was
Um,
that kid then? Was he about like
seemed
8, 9? Younger?
yeah, definitely preteen. I don't know, about 10ish, 10, 11. I don't know.
I'd be interested.
30-year-olds look like 10-year-olds to me now. I've reached that age. So
Whoa.
I had someone, a comic was like, I'm 41. I was like, I thought you were 28, which also, congratulations, but also everyone's starting to look younger. There we go, as more gray shows up. There is romance in Mandalorian Grogu to be had, says David Mackay. Din Djarin and Rada the Hutt, the epic love story will be revealed. There we go. I like that prediction.
Oh my gosh, I forgot. I forgot that he's going to be what was it? Jeremy Allen White? Wait.
Jeremy Allen White. It's the boss himself, right? Yep.
Gosh. Yep. Oh boy. Oh, I've got to gear myself up. I don't want to be a hater. I don't want to be a hater.
Hold on. What are you thinking is going to make you be a hater about Rada the Hutt?
I love Rada, and I have an idea. Just like I figured out how Jackson would sound, which, by the way, I think I called it. Right.
So great job. Yep.
I don't know how Rada would sound. Wait, didn't he already say how he was going to be? Didn't he already put forth what his vision for the character was, or the vision for the character in general? I can't remember. Someone in the chat.
We know that he's looking pretty buff, right? At least what we think is Rada in that pirated footage.
Right. So he's like a fitness influencer or something. I don't know.
That's what Rada did. That's where he's been. Man, I'm not getting in my dad's business. Everyone in there dies. I had a whole thing where I was kidnapped as a kid. I'm going into the fitness. I'm going on the HoloNet. Hi, everybody. I'm Rada the Hutt. Follow me to lose your Hutt bod. Like, that's what he's doing.
Yeah. Oh boy. Okay. Yeah. No. I'll be open to it. But okay, I may have to put out some hate videos. I'm kidding.
I love that half a year out, you're prepping hate videos.
Yeah.
Jen's going to get in her car. Look, I am very happy. What's that? I'm Himbo the Hutt. I'm very happy Rada's back in the story. I legitimately think there's a place for him in the story of what the hell happened to Jabba's son is pretty big in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Even if it's his stinky muffin, and all that stuff from the Clone Wars movie. The craziness of Jeremy Allen White playing it is even more fun for me. But yeah, we'll see. I'm excited. I'm cautiously optimistic. It seems like you're hopefully pessimistic, but
I'm gonna hate watch it. Is that what?
Tyler with a very generous super chat and nice words. This podcast is the highlight of my Mondays. Thanks again for being awesome, and may the force be with you both. We appreciate that a lot. Any other final thoughts here on romance, Jen, before we transition into some other conversation points? And
romance. Jabba retroactively had a dad bod before. It was cool.
It kind of did. Yeah, kind of did. Yeah. Yeah, I had ice cream last night. I cheated on my own discipline and working my way back to Jabba.
No, but ice cream is supposedly it can be good for your health. Did you hear about that?
Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that.
Yeah, they actually there was a study, and they kept redoing the study because they're like, surely this cannot be right. They were like, ice cream actually like has health benefits, but they're like, we can't put that out because then people are gonna go. I think it said it satiates that sweet tooth, but there actually is not as much sugar or like chemicals as maybe some of these other things. I don't know. I gotta find the study. I'll find it for you. But ever since then, I've been having more ice cream.
See, pizza's good if you just have one slice of once a year. But last night I had 2 slices of 7-Eleven pizza and some ice cream. Like I can't keep doing that. That's how I got in this mess.
There's vegetables in the sauce. You get some grains from the crust. This is what I tell my kids because this is all they want to eat.
All right. Y'all heard it. Brian Ward has a good question here. What if Rada becomes the Joe Rogan of the Star Wars galaxy? I would love that. Not with Rada, but I would work with Rada. But I would love that we have some negative influencers in the Star Wars galaxy spreading some trying to herald the return of the Empire. That's what we need. That's what we need.
Just asking questions. Just asking
Just
questions.
asking questions.
Oh,
Rod of the Hut
Lord.
here. We're just thinking aloud. That's all we're doing. I didn't vote for this with Palpatine. I didn't vote for this. Sorry, I tried to move that one there. Yeah, podcasting in the Star Wars universe. We've seen it mostly with Lando. We have a question coming out this week about that a little bit too. So, all right. So, final thoughts on the romance. We'll transition to something else here, Jen. I appreciate Douglas' questions a lot. Douglas question and questions. There's a lot of questions in there. The shows have delivered more than the movies, so it's not like romance has vanished. But I guess final thoughts, Jen. Do you think we need romance in any kind of Star Wars film as we return to theaters in a big way?
I can't really think of too many romance films right now that are out, but what just came to mind was Nora Ephron. A Nora Ephron Star Wars style movie. Meg Ryan, Tom Hanks. I don't know how this is obviously a Star Wars parody, but that would be kind of fun.
I'm like 8984M, who is, he's in that Gen Z young millennial ballpark. Give me kisses, damn it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I think, I do think, like I said, I am surprised sometimes that I don't feel it's missing because of where we were in the 80s as Star Wars fans and just fans in general of big picture movies. But like, I'd look forward to a sweeping romance returning in Star Wars. That's my final thoughts. Like I said up top, say it here. Give me some smooches too, Brady. Brady, if you want to give me smooches, give me some smooches in Star Wars.
Yes. Yeah, we'll see. I feel like the slate is so full. I don't know where we would get romance. Maybe it'll show up in the 10 Commandments Star Wars movie.
Taika Waititi, he could have some fun romance.
Taika. Yeah, when is that coming?
Who knows at this point, right? Who knows?
Right.
Oh, Frog Lady and Frogman. Yeah, there we go. It's definitely been present. Definitely been present. And I think Brian pointed out earlier too from Mando season 3, Captain Bombardier and the Duchess. That was, controversial episode aside. There's some love there in Star Wars too.
All right,
so there we go. Yeah, I like Marjo's thing. There's something to say about introducing a healthy relationship to be an example for the kids. If Star Wars is learning, teaching generations a good kind of romance. But that's the thing is, attack or prequels, it's problematic. Reylo, I have no problem with it. I got it. I remember kind of thinking and going into 9 saying, I'm rooting for Rey to have a more healthy relationship than one that might be. And there we go. Yeah, that went where it went. But and then 898 for him says, Han and Kira was hot. It was hot.
Oh, yeah.
Ill-fated.
Okay. The problem is though, is like a healthy relationship on screen is not going to be as exciting because there's no conflict, right? Okay, I hear you. I hear what you're saying. Yeah. You're right. I should communicate better, right? Exactly. No.
Yeah, because look, even another one of the great romances of my time, which is Miriam and Max Sterling from Robotech, Human and Zentradi love affair. You all remember it. It was a good, healthy relationship eventually, but it started with a literal knife fight. So that's there. One example of romance, I think we forget a lot about the High Republic. Gaz Nottingham, Elzar Mann, and Avar Kriss had a great romance, and Yoda was pretty chill about it too.
Oh.
Brian Ward points out holiday specials filled with romance.
Yeah.
There you go. And thank you, Zarngat. I struggled over this name recently too. One more for the goal. We appreciate that. All right. Some other questions here, and we got about 10 minutes left in the show. So if you have some other questions, even if it's a little other center, we'll have some fun. And we do have one from Star Wars High Ground. Have you watched Alien Earth? And do you think we'll see Timothy Olyphant as Cobb Vanth again? So in the Star Wars galaxy with this question there, I have not watched Alien Earth. Jen, have you?
No, I don't even know what it is, but I saw him in an interview and I don't know how I came across it where I think the interviewer asked him if he's going to be back in the Star Wars. He was very cryptic in his answer. and he had a
Oh,
smirk on his face. So
he's
that
in,
means
baby.
to me, he's in. He's back.
He's in.
He's in.
He's back, baby. Yeah, Cobb Vanth, one of the, I think, the great examples of book to screen in Star Wars, and you get a great performer, perfectly cast for it. I really came to love the performance. I wanted to be a hater early on, Jen. I was too much in
Oh,
your train of thought. Some about it. I didn't like the performance, but then I've come around on it in a big way. And I
oh,
think Timothy Oliphant, man, is I'm a Deadwood fan. I think it's great to have him on screen and those kind of roles. And I'm absolutely I'll put chips down that he's in Mandalorian Grogu. I have not seen Alien Earth. It's in the Alien universe. I've been too busy
oh,
watching
gotcha.
documentaries on the Dallas Cowboys. So sorry everybody. 8-part series. I had to finish it, and I
I've
did.
been watching Project Runway. That's really
You
good.
know, you know. This is Gopal. YouTube stuff. Yeah, I don't know. YouTube, what are you doing? Bring us
Oh,
back. Bring back the real names. I had to think it through on Cobb Vanth. Ochi Eli here saying I could listen to Cobb Vanth read the dictionary. I love that.
he is so great. The Santa Clarita Diet. I loved him
Mm,
in that. So funny.
indeed. All right. Any other things that are jumping out to you, Jen? Richie.
Yeah, that was.
I almost said Richie Cunningham because I'm just thinking about the Howard family. Biggs and Cassian were a wonderfully portrayed romance in the middle of the darkest times. If they can do that, yeah. And
Yeah.
even then, that was I don't think that relationship is problematic. I think it was one of the most realistic relationships, including their history, including
Hmm.
the time that they're apart, including Tim Carlo and his socks. I think it was beautifully done. I get some of the bigger umbrages taken with the ending, and like you said, Jen, it can be harmful or sometimes too easy just to say, and she has a kid,
Right.
and she takes a powder out. I get that, and maybe part of that's there. I'm not saying I'm right in this scenario, but I did love it in the end, and I loved it for Bix, even though it was tragic. Her life was full of a lot of tragedy, and there was some comfort and joy I took, and that's for the character, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think that the challenge would be going forward. They did that over 2 seasons. I mean, we got, glimpses of their relationship and a lot was implied in the first season, and the second season it really fleshed it out.
Mm-hmm.
Because they had more time. And so to really
Yeah,
make that in a movie work, that's challenging. I don't know.
yeah. That's the thing too. You're talking about you got to have conflict. That's just basic story writing. Tips there. Like there's a lot of things like it can be done very badly, but love in a movie is often hi. Are you in love with me? I'm in love with you. Great, we're off and running. Like
Yeah.
and it does sometimes not. I think it got so pat and so tropey and just so the rom-com genre started so wonderfully with some of the movies that we love. When Harry Met Sally, you're just talking about any Nora Ephron thing, and then it does get diluted, it does get watered down, and then it does come to the point where you're just like, all right, yeah, they fell in love because they ran. Yeah, I get it. That's not realistic. And then you have a realistic movie like Blue Valentine. Speaking of Gosling, and
Oh,
it hurts because it's too real. you know.
yeah.
So
Right.
when you put it into a movie, you package it in a movie. I think sweeping's the only way to go. At other places we can explore. Not the only way to go. That's very definitive, but like it's the best way to approach it. I think.
I like that. I like that. I mean, that's just the beginning of a movie is that you have two people that are like, yeah, I like you. I like you. We're going to go on this adventure together. That's it. That's the movie, but it's set in Star Wars. That'd be so fun. It's
Yeah,
very simple.
yeah. And now you're just thinking, Jen. You're making me think of once again. I grew up on a lot of this stuff, and that I took it. I should have taken better notes. Where for years I was the type of, did that waitress just say hello to me? I think we're in love now.
Ah, right. Right.
So there we go.
Right.
Gopal's been rewatching Castle. Do you think Mal Reynolds from Firefly, Fillian's character, could work in Star Wars? I do think his that style. That's very much Han, and I think even Gulp's got a follow up. Mal Reynolds type, unless he was already a Han Solo ripoff. Looking at you, Dash Rendar.
Mm,
Yeah, but it's a good archetype that I think we need in a character like that. Fillion won me over in the Superman picture, which I had no
Oh yeah.
love or hate on filling, and he was just always there for me. But I thought he was so good in Superman. I just maybe like to see him in Star Wars. I think he'd be, hell, if we're gonna do Dash Rendar, I don't need no Glenn Powell or anything like that. I need Nathan Fillion.
You know who I want? One of my old acting teachers at one point, Todd Stashwick, who was connected with Star Wars at one point.
And
right?
I have debated. No, actually, Stashwick and I were on the same side at a party.
Oh, you were? You were on the same
at a Star Wars debate. Yeah, I know Todd, and he'd be great.
He'd be so good. Please. Cast him, even though he's been in Star Trek, we know, and he's going to be in a new thing. I can't remember based on is it Marvel? Yeah, so he's going to be Marvel, right?
Yeah, he's been in London, I think, for the last year, which is not a secret. He's been, and I want to be clear, I don't know him super well. He's a friend of my friend John Muro, and we've been around at parties, and he's actually listened to ForceCenter. I sent him the Dexter Diner episode because he was fascinated by he wanted to hear that. He's been out in London. So, but yeah, put him in a Star War. Put him in a Star War.
He was so fantastic in The Riches. Did you ever see The Riches? That TV show? It was on FX with
I remember that, but no.
Izzard. Yeah, so good. Vision Quest for Marvel. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
There you go. Thank you for all people helping us. You guys got information. There we go. All right. Eli says, I know people love Sebastian Stan for New Luke, but I thought he'd be good as Dash for a little bit.
That could be fun.
I have to face the fact that a lot of people do want Dash Rendar in Star Wars.
I'm one of them.
Okay. Well.
And we're done. Thank you all for watching.
And I know, before anyone says, I know he's been mentioned in canon supplemental material. I think Jason Fry snuck him in there. All right. Sell me on it, Jen. Why is Dash and his shoulder pads belong in modern Star Wars?
Right. That's part of it is he does kind of have a retro 1980s appeal, and he is kind of like a Han Solo ripoff. And it's been so long that now I don't even know why I liked him as a character. I just could see that type of character. I think it'd be fun to have Han Solo sequel.
Yes. Look, Detective McCarcel saying let Dash stay as a mention.
Get out, Jen. Hey, Neil. Hey.
But I'm completely open to it. I have absolutely, unabashedly taken a sledgehammer to the character of Dash Rendar publicly over the years. I don't like a lot of 90s Legend Star Wars. It's just a taste thing. All right. I also don't like In-N-Out burgers. Sorry. What are you gonna do? You can shove one in my mouth. I'm still gonna say it's not good. That's just the way it is. However, Star Wars creators now, those telling these stories, they have wonderful ways of bringing these characters back. The fact that we are in a Jackson Renaissance, a Jack Renaissance, if you will, of a character that to me was the number one example of how silly can be a little too far in Star Wars. And that has been something I've been thinking since the late 80s. But then, that goddamn story in the Point of View Empire book that made me just realize, if I could accept a squid guy in Mon Calamari and Akbar and everything, I could accept a rabbit, and it could be good. And now we get the Lego thing. We'll see how it plays in a canon, non-canon kind of story. But all that to say, Jen, I will not disagree with you. If they find a way to bring Dash in, and he is almost in story as a not Han Solo, a better version of the Toro Calican for Mandalorian Season 1, I'd be on board. I think you could get some mileage out of that.
Yeah, and Richie is making a good point. Folks, go reread Shadows of the Empire today. It does not hold up. It's very dated and very problematic in parts. I have not read it in a very, very long time, so I don't know. Maybe I should go back and I'll take back my comment about Dash.
But you can pluck them out. But you're right. You're plucking them out of the stories here. I don't love the Zahn books. The Zahn books do not hold up for me at all.
Right.
From the early 90s. But they also mean the world to me because that was the only Star Wars we had. And then you pluck Zahn from that. I love the Rebels depiction of Thrawn. I love listening. I had this happen to me in my Ahsoka rewatch. Did I talk about this on ForceCenter, Jen? I don't love Thrawn in live action.
Yeah,
didn't get there with it. I think Lars is great. I love having Lars and Mads in Star Wars, but I just it didn't work for me. But my rewatch earlier in this month, I had it on in the background while I was in my garage gym, and I heard it and didn't see it, and I was like, "Oh, this completely works for me."
Oh,
Completely works for me.
interesting. Okay.
And I'm not saying it has anything to do with the performance or the look. I think the blue to me doesn't hold up in live action as much as you'd maybe want it. Same with Hera's green. I have some personal issues with it. But it's just, I guess it's completely mental. Hearing it, not seeing it, I was like, oh, this completely works.
You know, I really, and no shade to Lars Mikkelsen, I would have loved Benedict Cumberbatch. I think he would have been so good. But
Okay.
yeah, I'll have to try that. Maybe it'll change my opinion.
Sorry, my mic button's breaking. Oh, my equipment is breaking. Yeah, it was interesting because try it. We'll do a follow up, Jen, because
test. Okay.
Because how do I say it? My first go around with Ahsoka, I was like, he didn't nail the character. And we talk on the news show tomorrow, a little bit of what Katie Sackhoff's saying about Bo-Katan, trying to get into the character and kind of some of the struggles she felt she had with the character. And some of it didn't work early on, but I think she steps into it wonderfully. So I think he'll step into it wonderfully. He's a great performer. But when I heard it, I just was like, oh, no, he got it. It's the same. It just, I think I had the obstacle of seeing it, not hearing it, or not it be there's a degree of separation in animation that I hadn't got to yet with live action.
It's very difficult. Yeah. I mean, and the performance in animation was great. It's the mold for me. Yeah. So I think I had a difficult time with the transition to live action.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Any final questions, folks? We're about ready to get out of here. We got Star Wars news tomorrow, talking about Oscar Isaac and a little bit of our Star Wars news roundup. Later in the week, Romance is Why We Love Star Wars with comedian Grace Kessmeyer. Looking forward to that episode. And like I said, we're out next week. We might come back later in the week for a live episode bonanza, so bear with us on that. But any other final questions here? Now's your time. 898 for him says he will not take this in and out slander, except to their owners. Yeah, sorry, Jen, you're a SoCal native. We've never had the in and out conversation, huh?
Oh no, but I don't really eat burgers, but I do eat their grilled cheese animal style, and it's so great. Their fries, I like Five Guys fries better personally.
The bank hasn't given me a loan to go to Five Guys again, so
it's so expensive. They raised their prices. Everything. Oh my gosh.
It was expensive when it hit the scene.
Yeah.
I went in like 2009 or something in Northridge, and it was like $13 for a burger then. I can't imagine what it is now. What do we, $25?
It's really expensive. McDonald's, I shared this before. McDonald's is expensive. It was like $20 for 2 Happy Meals. I was just like, this is.
We discussed this over on my show, The Blathering Live, which I hope you all check out live 3 times a week over to my YouTube channel. There's a plug. We talked about it with producer Steve. McDonald's 10 years ago to now, 100% increase in their prices.
Guy, now I really miss Five Guys. We used to get it more often when it was cheaper.
I'm still going to tell you, the bargain burger to get in the fast food world is the Del Taco Double Del Cheeseburger. If you're SoCal, go try it out. All right. On that note, is it too controversial for you?
No, I was remembering the video that you did with that. Was it the pickle? Was it the Del
Taco pickle taco? Yes.
Yes, it looked delish.
It was very good.
Was it?
I don't know if it's still. It was very good. I don't know if it's still on the menu. We'll find out.
I want to get it.
I'm trying something new today. I'm actually, when we're done recording here, I've got a new flavor of soda. But I don't drink soda anymore. But I'm gonna try a possible abomination flavor and post it later today.
Oh,
we'll see.
Flavor soda is just gonna go so wrong.
Yeah. Thank you for the final super chat there. All right, we're on our way out. That's it. We're done. We're out of here. Appreciate you all. Thank you for the super chats. It really means a lot to help keep the channel here strong and growing as we head into our 12th year of broadcasting. Shout out to our dear colleague, Joseph Scrimshaw, hunkering down, finishing his film Dead Media. Follow him on social media. You know where to follow me. But seriously, some of you, get over there. Check out The Blather Room. Have a lot of fun every week over there on my YouTube channel. And Jen, where can they find and follow you?
at Jennifer Landa on almost all the sites.
On almost all the sites. That's it. All right. We'll see you next time. Bye.